As the cold, unyielding blackness of space stretched endlessly before him, Captain Elias Drake stood on the bridge of the USS Legacy, his gaze fixed on the vast unknown. The silence of the cosmos was a stark contrast to the storm of thoughts raging in his mind. With humanity's fate potentially hanging in the balance, every decision he made could tip the scales towards peace or plunge them into the depths of war. The pressure was a familiar companion, pulsing through him like the steady thrum of the ship's engines. Aboard the USS Legacy, a titan of technology and diplomacy, the weight of command lay heavy on Drake's shoulders. Here, on the fringes of the Andromeda Galaxy, the boundaries of human exploration were being pushed as never before. The ship, a sleek behemoth of metal and might, served as a symbol of Earth's desires to explore, to expand, and to extricate any threats to human colonies sprinkled across the stars. Captain Drake, a seasoned envoy of peace and a decorated officer, bore the scars of past encounters, both diplomatic and hostile. His face, weathered by years of interstellar negotiations, held a stoic calm. Yet, beneath his composed exterior, churned a whirlpool of strategic calculations and deep-seated fears for his crew's safety and the civilizations they might encounter. The bridge buzzed softly with the low chatter of the crew and the gentle hum of the spacecraft. It was a sound that spoke of routine and readiness, a lull in the ceaseless vigilance required in the uncharted territories of space. The crew, a diverse group of individuals, drawn from various Earth nations and trained for years for such missions, worked in harmony under Drake's experienced hand. Suddenly, the serenity was shattered by an alert from the navigation officer. "Contact. Unidentified vessels detected at the perimeter of our sector," she reported, her voice a mixture of tension and excitement. Drake's heart skipped a beat as he approached the holographic display at the center of the bridge. The images flickered to life, showing a cluster of unknown ships, their designs unlike any documented in the human database. The moment he had been trained for, yet hoped never to face, was upon him. First contact. His mind raced with possibilities and potential dangers. "Status report, now," he commanded, his voice cutting through the murmur of the bridge with sharp precision. "Ships are holding position, sir. No signs of aggressive maneuvers, but they're definitely watching us," the tactical officer updated promptly. Drake pondered their next move. Every decision from here could either open a dialogue with a new alien race or trigger a disastrous conflict. The weight of history was upon him, and he felt it in every fiber of his being. Signal the fleet, defensive formations but no provocative actions. Launch the drones for a closer look, and keep communications open. "We're here to talk, not to fight," Drake instructed, his directive clear and firm. As the crew sprung into action, the tension on the bridge climbed palpable. Drake took a moment to steady himself, his eyes never leaving the display. In the vast star-filled expanse before him, the unknown awaited, a new chapter in human history beckoning under the watchful eyes of the cosmos. The USS Legacy, a beacon of Earth's hope and fear, sailed forward into the void, her captain resolute at the helm. The USS Legacy surged silently through the cosmos, its engines emitting a low, almost imperceptible hum that resonated through the metallic corridors of the warship. In the expansive observation deck, Captain Elias Drake stood with his hands clasped behind his back, his eyes locked on the holographic display that showed the slowly approaching alien fleet. The shapes of the unknown vessels were sleek and menacing, their hulls reflecting the distant light of nearby stars, making them appear as phantoms against the backdrop of deep space. The air was thick with anticipation, and each member of the crew felt the gravity of the moment. This was what they had trained for, the scenario they had simulated countless times, yet facing the real possibility of alien contact brought a mix of excitement and fear that no drill could replicate. Drake turned to face his communications officer, Lieutenant Mara Jensen, a young but exceptionally skilled linguist and communications expert. "Mara, any luck with the open hailing frequencies?" he asked, his voice steady yet tinged with urgency. Jensen adjusted her headset, her fingers moving swiftly over the console. No response to our standard greetings in all United Nations languages, Captain. I've started broadcasting in mathematical sequences and prime number counts. If they are out there watching, they should recognize these as universal concepts, she replied, her voice a blend of hope and frustration. Drake nodded, appreciating her efforts. Keep trying, Mara. If there's a chance to communicate, we must take it, he said, turning his attention back to the display. The bridge door slid open with a soft whoosh, and Commander Richard Flynn, Drake's second-in-command, entered. His expression was grim, reflecting the tension of their mission. Elias, the fleet's in position. We're ready for any contingencies. But the alien ships, they've made no aggressive moves, nor have they retreated. It's like they're assessing us, just as we are them, Flynn reported, standing beside Drake. Drake's gaze remained fixed on the screen, watching the alien ships. Or they're waiting for something. We can't afford to make the first hostile move. Have all crew remain on high alert, but hold fire. We need to show them we come in peace, he instructed, the weight of each word measured and deliberate. Outside the confines of the Legacy, the unmanned drones provided a closer look at the alien vessels. The drones, equipped with high-resolution cameras and sensors, relayed images back to the ship. The alien technology was unlike anything human engineers had conceived. The ships were adorned with what appeared to be organic components, seamlessly integrated with their metallic structures. This revelation sparked a flurry of discussion among the Legacy's science team, suggesting a civilization that had mastered both technology and biology in ways humanity had only begun to theorize about. Dr. Emily Zhao, the ship's chief scientist, joined Drake and Flynn at the display. Captain, the design of these vessels suggests a highly advanced understanding of bioengineering. This could represent a significant leap in our own technologies if we could open a dialogue, she explained, pointing out the intricate details visible on the alien ships. Drake considered her words carefully. The potential for technological advancement was enormous, but so was the risk of a misunderstanding leading to conflict. Understood, Emily. Let's hope they're willing to talk, he said. As hours turned into tense waiting, the silence from the alien fleet continued. Drake decided it was time to try a more direct approach. Mara, broadcast this message on all channels, he said, his voice resolute. This is Captain Elias Drake of the USS Legacy, representing the United Nations of Earth. We come in peace, and wish to communicate with you. The message, simple and clear, echoed through space, a call into the unknown, waiting for an echo back. The crew of the USS Legacy watched and waited, the silence of space around them now filled with the quiet hum of anticipation, as they stood on the precipice of a new era in human history. As the USS Legacy drifted silently through the black ocean of space, the tension aboard the ship was palpable. The alien fleet remained as enigmatic as ever, their sleek, biotechnological ships floating ominously at the edge of sensor range, neither advancing nor retreating. The stalemate persisted, a silent test of patience and resolve for both parties. The breakthrough came unexpectedly. The ship's deep-range scanners, usually tasked with charting asteroid densities and cosmic anomalies, picked up an unusual signal emanating from a nearby uninhabited system. The signal, which appeared to be an artificial beacon, was broadcasting in a pattern that suggested it was not only deliberate but designed to be found. Captain Elias Drake received the news in the strategy room, a compact chamber lined with digital maps and live feeds from various decks. Lieutenant Tara Banks, the ship's lead astrophysicist, presented the findings with a mixture of excitement and caution. Captain, the signal is coming from a small moon orbiting a gas giant in the Hyades sector. It's strong and repetitive, like a beacon. There's definitely something down there, she reported, her eyes locked on the pulsing light of the holoscreen. Drake pondered the possibilities. This could be a trap, a well-placed lure by the unknown fleet, or it could be a genuine opportunity, a relic of a bygone civilization. Prepare a reconnaissance team. We're going to take a closer look. Keep this quiet for now. We don't need any rumors starting a panic, he decided, his voice firm. The team was small, handpicked for their expertise and their capacity to handle unexpected situations. Dr. Emily Zhao, along with a small contingent of security personnel led by Commander Richard Flynn, were tasked with investigating the source of the signal. They boarded one of the smaller shuttlecraft, which slipped quietly from the Legacy's hangar bay and made its way towards the mysterious moon. As they approached, the surface of the moon revealed itself through the shuttle's viewport. It was a barren landscape, pockmarked with craters and strewn with jagged rocks. The beacon's signal led them to a particularly desolate area, where the gray regolith gave way to a series of deep crevasses. The shuttle landed on a flat expanse near the source of the signal, and the team disembarked, their suits protecting them from the harsh environment. They moved towards the signal's epicenter, their steps kicking up clouds of dust that hung lazily in the weak gravity. The artifact was partially buried in the moon's surface, its exterior weathered by eons of micrometeorite impacts. It was metallic and oblong, with smooth curved surfaces that gleamed dully in the light of the distant sun. Intricate engravings, filled with the dust of ages, covered its length. Zhao approached cautiously, her scanner humming softly as it analyzed the object. It's ancient, Captain, possibly older than any human civilization, and it's emitting a low-level energy field. There's no doubt now. It was meant to be found, Zhao reported back to Drake, who was monitoring the exploration from the Legacy. Drake's mind raced as he considered their next move. Secure the artifact for transport. If this is what I think it is, it could change everything. We need to get it back to the Legacy for a full analysis, he ordered. The operation to move the artifact was delicate. The team rigged a series of anti-grav units around it, gently lifting it from its resting place. As they did, the artifact hummed to life, its surface pulsating with a soft light. The crew stood back in awe, watching as the ancient technology awakened from its slumber. With the artifact safely aboard the shuttle, they returned to the Legacy. But as they docked, Drake received an urgent message from the bridge. Captain, the alien fleet, they've started to move. Looks like they're heading this way. The voice of the tactical officer crackled over the comms. Drake's jaw set firmly. It seems we've got their attention. Let's just hope they're as interested in talking as they are in this artifact, he murmured, staring out at the approaching ships, a mixture of hope and dread filling his chest. The USS Legacy shuddered slightly as it repositioned to face the incoming alien fleet, its engines emitting a low, steady thrum. The bridge was bathed in the soft glow of tactical displays, each screen a window into the deep, mysterious expanse that now teemed with the unknown ships. The air crackled with tension, a palpable force that seemed to grip everyone aboard. Captain Elias Drake stood at the forefront, his eyes narrowed, analyzing the slow but deliberate advance of the alien vessels. They moved with an eerie synchronicity, their formations tight and precise, a silent ballet in the void of space. The sight was both beautiful and terrifying in its alien grace. Captain, the alien fleet has halted just outside of engagement range. They're maintaining position. No further advancements, reported Lieutenant Commander Sarah Chen, the tactical officer, her voice steady despite the undercurrent of anxiety that laced it. Drake nodded, processing the information. Keep our shields up and weapons on standby, but do not fire unless fired upon. We need to show them we're not a threat, he instructed, his voice echoing slightly in the hushed atmosphere of the bridge. Beside him, Commander Richard Flynn, his second-in-command, watched the alien ships with a skeptical eye. Elias, they could be regrouping for an attack. We should consider a preemptive strike to disable their capabilities before they have a chance. No, Richard. We won't win this with firepower. This has to be about diplomacy. We need to understand why they're here, and what they want with the artifact. Drake interrupted softly but firmly, his gaze still fixed on the display. Meanwhile, in the ship's lab, the mysterious artifact had been placed within a secure containment field. Dr. Emily Zhao and her team were conducting preliminary scans, their findings projected onto large screens around the room. The artifact, now pulsating with a rhythmic glow, seemed almost alive, its surface etching and re-etching with patterns that shifted and changed like the surface of a calm sea. Zhao looked up from her console as Captain Drake entered. "Emily, what have we learned?" he asked, his voice low, almost reverent in the presence of the ancient relic. "It's unlike anything we've ever seen, Captain. The technology integrated within this artifact. It's not just advanced, it's otherworldly. And it seems to be reacting to our energy signatures. Every time we run a scan, it changes, adapts. It's learning, evolving." Drake's brow furrowed. Could it be a communication device? Or perhaps a beacon? Possibly both. It might have been waiting for someone to find it, to activate it. And now that we have, it's sending a signal. We just don't know to whom, Zhao replied, her excitement tinged with a hint of fear. Back on the bridge, the standoff with the alien fleet continued. Drake returned, his mind racing with the possibilities of what the artifact could mean for humanity, and why the alien fleet was so interested in it. He opened a channel to the entire ship. "This is Captain Drake. I know many of you are concerned about the presence of the alien fleet and our current situation. I want to assure you that every decision we make is with the safety and best interest of this crew and humanity in mind. We have encountered something extraordinary, something that could change our understanding of the universe and our place within it. I ask for your trust and patience as we navigate this critical moment." As his words echoed through the corridors of the Legacy, the crew members absorbed his calm resolve. It fortified them, a reminder of the unity and purpose they shared under Drake's command. Suddenly, the main screen on the bridge flickered and shifted. A new signal was incoming, not from the artifact, but directly from the alien fleet. A communication attempt. The text was garbled, interspersed with strange symbols and snippets of unclear audio, but it was a start. "Mara, get me a clear channel. Everyone else, stand by. We might just get some answers after all," Drake commanded, his voice laced with cautious optimism as he prepared to finally hear the voices of those who had been watching them from the shadows of space. The comm signal flickered on the main screen, breaking the oppressive silence that had settled over the USS Legacy's bridge. Static crackled through the audio channel, punctuated by fragments of a language that was mechanically harsh and melodically fluid all at once. The communications team worked feverishly, their fingers dancing over interfaces, adjusting filters and algorithms to isolate meaningful patterns from the alien broadcast. Captain Elias Drake watched intently, his posture rigid with concentration, as Lieutenant Mara Jensen finally stabilized the transmission. The screen shifted, and a face appeared, inhuman, yet strikingly expressive. Its skin shimmered with a metallic sheen, eyes glowing faintly under a smooth, angular forehead. The alien's gaze seemed to pierce through the digital divide, reaching out across the vast expanse of cold space. "We are the Kathrani," the alien intoned, its voice now clear through the ship's speakers. "You hold what is sacred to us. Return the origin stone, or face the consequences." Drake's heart sank. The artifact. It was not just a relic but a sacred object to these beings, now named the Kathrani. He realized that the standoff was not merely a territorial dispute or a scientific curiosity. It was a profound cultural and spiritual conflict. "Thank you for reaching out, Kathrani," Drake replied, striving to infuse his voice with respect and calm. "We did not know of the artifact's significance. We are explorers and seekers of knowledge, not thieves or conquerors. Can we meet to discuss this further? We wish for peace between our peoples." The alien's luminous eyes narrowed slightly, assessing Drake's sincerity. After a tense moment, it nodded slowly. "We will send coordinates for a neutral meeting place. Come alone, Captain Drake. This matter requires trust on both sides." As the transmission ended, the atmosphere on the bridge shifted palpably. The crew was abuzz with a mixture of relief and apprehension. Preparations began immediately for the captain's departure. Drake insisted on handling the negotiations personally, believing that a direct dialogue would foster a genuine rapport with the Kathrani. Meanwhile, Dr. Emily Zhao and her team conducted non-invasive studies on the Origin Stone, hoping to glean anything that might aid their captain in the upcoming discussions. The artifact pulsed rhythmically, almost as if it were alive, its surface patterns shifting and flowing like liquid metal. Zhao documented every observation, aware that understanding this object could be crucial not only for peaceful relations, but for advancing human technology and cultural understanding. On the designated moon, a barren and remote outpost, Drake stood alone, waiting. The Kathrani delegation arrived in a vessel that was sleek and silent, settling onto the surface like a shadow. The hatch opened, and 3 Kathrani emerged, their forms elegant and imposing. The meeting took place in the open, under the light of the system's twin suns. Drake offered the Origin Stone, held within a transparent containment unit. The Kathrani leader, whom Drake now knew as Commander Ceylon, approached it with a mixture of reverence and longing. "This is a cornerstone of our civilization," Ceylon explained, his voice resonant with emotion. "It is not merely an object, but a repository of our history, our sciences and our souls. It was stolen from us, lost in a conflict we no longer even remember. Its return has been our quest for generations." Drake listened, his respect deepening. "I promise, we only sought to study it, not to keep it. We too value our history and strive to protect our cultural heritage." Ceylon nodded, the tension easing slightly. "And yet you found it, and activated it. It shows you are a people of capability. Perhaps this meeting is fortuitous. Perhaps there is more to share between us." As they talked, a plan began to form. A cultural exchange, a sharing of knowledge, and a mutual protection pact. The Origin Stone would be returned, but this first contact would open doors to a broader understanding and cooperation. Drake felt a cautious optimism as he returned to the legacy, the agreement with the Kathrani promising a new era of interaction. Yet as the stars wheeled silently above, he knew the road ahead would be fraught with challenges. For now, though, they had averted a crisis, and the legacy would continue its journey, not just as explorers, but as pioneers of peace. The USS Legacy cruised through the cosmos, its path illuminated by the distant stars that peppered the inky blackness of space. Inside the vessel, the mood had shifted from one of high alert to cautious optimism following Captain Elias Drake's successful negotiation with the Kathrani. The bridge, usually a hive of tactical and navigational activity, now served as a quiet backdrop to contemplation and strategic planning. Captain Drake stood before the main viewport, watching the stars streak by as the ship moved at sublight speeds. He mulled over the meeting with the Kathrani, each word and gesture playing back in his mind. The agreement reached was a historic one, not just for the Legacy and her crew, but for all of humanity. The Kathrani had not only accepted their offer to return the Origin Stone, but had proposed a partnership that could propel human technology and culture forward by leaps and bounds. Dr. Emily Zhao approached him, her footsteps silent on the soft carpet of the bridge. In her hands, she carried a tablet buzzing with new data from the last scans they had conducted on the Origin Stone before its return. "Captain, the artifact. It's far more than we imagined. Just before we handed it back, it began interfacing with our systems. It didn't just send data, it was teaching our computers Kathrani language patterns, scientific concepts, even hints of their philosophy," she reported, her voice filled with a mix of awe and excitement. Drake turned to face her, his expression thoughtful. "It's a library, a bridge between cultures. This changes everything. How much were you able to learn before we returned it?" "Enough to keep us busy for years," Zhao replied. "And the Kathrani seem eager to continue this exchange. They've invited a delegation from Earth to visit their homeworld. They're opening their doors to us, sharing their knowledge. We stand on the brink of a true interstellar alliance." The potential was enormous, but Drake was aware of the gravity of their next steps. The decisions made in the coming days would shape the future of Earth's relations with the Kathrani, and potentially other civilizations in the galaxy. Later, in a closed meeting with his senior officers and advisors, Drake laid out the situation. The room was lined with screens displaying star maps and data streams, but the focus was on the captain as he spoke. "We've been given an unprecedented opportunity," Drake began, his voice clear and firm. "The Kathrani are not just sharing technology, they're offering friendship. But with great opportunities come great risks. We must consider the implications of this alliance carefully. Our actions will affect Earth's position in the galaxy for generations." Commander Richard Flynn, always the tactician, raised a concern. "We need to ensure our security isn't compromised. We don't fully understand their technology or their motives. While the cultural and technological benefits are clear, we must also prepare for the unforeseen." Dr. Zhao nodded in agreement, adding, "Yet the scientific and cultural advancements we could achieve with their help could propel us into a new era of prosperity and understanding. It's a risk, but one that may well be worth taking." The discussion went deep into the night, with every possible outcome considered, from the enhancement of Earth's technology and the broadening of its cultural horizons to the potential threats and strategic disadvantages. When the meeting adjourned, Drake was left alone with his thoughts, the weight of decision heavy upon him. He returned to the bridge, standing before the viewport once more. The stars seemed to beckon, each one a symbol of potential knowledge and undiscovered truths. The origin stone had opened a door, and now it was up to him to decide whether humanity would step through. As the legacy continued its journey through the stars, Drake made his decision. He would recommend to Earth's leaders that they accept the Kathrani's offer. Humanity would embrace this chance for a broader understanding of the universe, for peace and for a shared future among the stars. It was a risk, but it was also a step toward fulfilling humanity's destiny in the cosmos. The USS Legacy glided through the star-studded void, its engines emitting a gentle hum that reverberated through the corridors of the ship, a constant reminder of the ever-moving journey ahead. Inside the vessel, the atmosphere was a mix of tentative relief and underlying excitement, as the crew prepared for what could be one of the most significant missions in human history. Captain Elias Drake stood in his office, a small but functional space filled with mementos of Earth and his travels across the galaxy. The walls were lined with digital frames that displayed images of lush, green landscapes from Earth and the barren, yet beautiful vistas of planets he'd visited. His desk was strewn with star charts and diplomatic communiques, the tools of his trade in navigating not just space but the delicate intricacies of interstellar relations. Drake was reviewing the final plans for the upcoming delegation to the Kathrani homeworld, a mission that he felt would either cement the fragile peace they had begun to forge or unravel it at the seams. The stakes were monumentally high, but the potential for a lasting alliance and mutual understanding drove him forward. The door chimed softly, and Dr. Emily Zhao entered, her presence a calming influence. She carried with her the latest reports from the scientific team, insights gleaned from the brief interactions with the Origin Stone that suggested volumes about the Kathrani's advancements in both technology and philosophy. "Captain, the team has made some fascinating discoveries," Sao began, handing him a tablet that buzzed with animated graphs and complex equations. "It appears that the Kathrani have mastered quantum entanglement on a level we've only theorized about. And there's evidence of their use of dark energy in ways that could revolutionize how we understand propulsion." Drake nodded, absorbing the information. "This makes our mission even more critical, Emily. Understanding and sharing this knowledge could usher in a new era for humanity. We need to ensure that this alliance is built on solid ground, mutual respect, and a genuine desire to learn from one another." The preparations for the visit involved not just logistical planning but cultural training. The crew selected for the delegation spent hours in simulations, learning the nuances of Kathrani communication, their customs, and societal structures. It was essential that they not only bring back knowledge but also foster goodwill and deeper connections. Meanwhile, back on Earth, The news of the impending diplomatic mission had leaked to the public, sparking debates across various media platforms. While many celebrated the potential breakthroughs in science and diplomacy, others voiced concerns about the rapid pace of these developments and the potential risks of sharing too much too soon. In a live broadcast to the people of Earth, Drake addressed these concerns directly, his demeanor composed yet earnest. We stand at the threshold of a new frontier in human history. The opportunity to learn from the Kathrani is not just a scientific endeavor, but a chance to understand more about the universe and our place within it. We proceed with caution, but we also proceed with an open mind and heart. As the day of departure drew closer, the Legacy was abuzz with activity. Supplies were checked and rechecked, diplomatic gifts carefully selected, and personal messages from the crew to their families recorded and sent back to Earth. Each member of the delegation knew the importance of their role, not just as representatives of Earth but as pioneers of a potential interstellar partnership. Finally, the moment of departure arrived. The Legacy's engines pulsed more forcefully, propelling the ship towards the Kathrani system. Drake watched the stars blur into lines as they entered faster than light speed, a physical manifestation of the monumental leap humanity was about to make. As the ship hurtled through space, Drake felt a profound sense of responsibility. This mission could indeed change everything. The peace they were about to solidify was fragile, born out of necessity and curiosity, and it would require patience, understanding, and a great deal of trust. But for the first time in human history, the stars felt within their grasp, not just to visit but to connect with, in a deep and lasting way. As the USS Legacy approached the Kathrani system, the vastness of space seemed to converge into a singular moment of potential and promise. The ship's approach was slow and deliberate, a sign of respect and caution as they entered foreign celestial territory. The view from the bridge was breathtaking. Planets and moons orbited a vibrant blue star, their surfaces alive with colors and textures that hinted at the richness of Kathrani civilization. Captain Elias Drake stood by the main viewport, his gaze fixed on the fourth planet where their destination lay. It was a lush world swathed in swirls of white and green, with vast oceans glinting under the alien sun. The Kathrani homeworld, known as Kathrada, was reputed to be a hub of culture and technological marvels, a reputation that was evident even from space. The communication panel beeped softly, and the voice of a Kathrani official filled the bridge. USS Legacy, you are cleared for entry. Welcome to Kathrada. We await your arrival with anticipation. The message was warm, belying the complex layers of diplomacy that this visit represented. As the Legacy descended into the atmosphere, the crew members aboard prepared themselves for the historic meeting. Each one had been briefed, not just on protocol and scientific interests, but on the importance of every gesture and word in crafting the future relationship between humans and Kathrani. The ship landed gently on a designated platform outside the capital city, a sprawling metropolis that showcased the architectural prowess of the Kathrani structures that spiraled gracefully towards the sky, harmoniously blending technology and nature. The delegation was greeted by Commander Saelon and his retinue, their expressions composed but eyes bright with curiosity. The initial greetings were formal but infused with a genuine warmth. Drake stepped forward, extending a hand in the human gesture of friendship which Saelon accepted with a nod, mimicking the gesture in a sign of respect and acceptance. You honor us with your welcome, Drake said, his voice steady, broadcasting not just to Saelon but to the multitudes watching this historic event through broadcasts across galaxies. Saelon smiled, a subtle upturn of lips that was rare for Kathrani, signifying deep respect. Captain Drake, we hope this marks the beginning of a long and fruitful relationship between our peoples. The Earth delegation was then taken on a tour of the city, where they witnessed firsthand the wonders of Kathrani technology, fields that floated, vehicles that moved without touching the ground, and devices that seemed to function purely on light and sound. Each marvel was a piece of the puzzle that humanity hoped to learn from, understanding that each shared secret was a step closer to a deeper alliance. Emily Zhao was particularly drawn to their advancements in energy conversion, a technology that could revolutionize Earth's approach to sustainable power. She exchanged ideas and theories with her Kathrani counterparts, the exchange marked by a mutual excitement that transcended language and species. That evening, under the twin moons of Kathrada, a formal banquet was held in honor of the visitors from Earth. The atmosphere was vibrant, filled with the lilting melodies of Kathrani music and the air rich with the scent of exotic spices. Drake, standing with a glass of a luminescent Kathrani beverage, felt a profound sense of achievement and responsibility. The talks that followed would lay the groundwork for treaties and exchanges, but tonight was about building trust and friendship on a personal level. As the banquet drew to a close, Drake addressed the assembly, his words broadcast to countless viewers across two civilizations. Tonight we stand together, not as strangers, but as potential friends and allies. Our journey has been long, but I believe this is just the beginning. Let us look forward to a future where our cultures enrich each other, where knowledge and kindness are our guiding stars. The applause that followed resonated through the hall, a sound of hope and approval that marked the dawn of a new era. The story of humanity's reach across the galaxy, of meeting the Kathrani and forging a bond that would shape the future of both their peoples, was a testament to the power of curiosity, respect, and diplomacy. As the legacy prepared for its journey back to Earth, its mission accomplished, Captain Elias Drake looked out at the stars, now not so much lights in the vastness of space, but beacons of potential friendships and undiscovered stories.